The New Testament scholar Walter Wink claims that historical research depends on analogy, and so to evaluate the plausibility of accounts about the past, but warns that our limited experiences can unfairly constrict the analogies with which we work, right? So my experience tells me that these types of things happen, and therefore this probably couldn't happen. Wait a minute. Your experiences are limited, right? And so he gives the illustration of the prince who lacks experiences of freezing because in his climate, it's always warm. And so that prince cannot extrapolate with certainty from his non-experience of it, freezing. And so people in everyday situations cannot extrapolate from their non-experience of potential situations of special divine significance, such as miracle claims imply. Right. So the story is that you go to the prince in this moderate climate and you say, I think they were talking about, he gives it here. We didn't take the time. Again, yeah, people need to get the book and read it because there are things that we're leaving out here. But the story is that you confront that prince with folks who are riding on water, or actually their horses on water. And it's because the water is frozen and they're able to do it. And he says, nah, that can't happen. I've never experienced anything like that, so it can't happen. Yeah. But wait a minute. Just because you have an experience, that doesn't mean it can't happen. And that's the point he's trying to make here.
Yeah, one of the other ones I've also heard is showing people the kind of stair-step picture that we put in all our draft documents of these are where the stairs are, to people who have never seen stairs, never experienced it, and they just see this kind of shape on there, but they don't view it as like a stair shape. Where you hand it to a 5-year-old who's been told not to go down the stairs to the baby gates has always been there, and they go, oh no, that's a stair shape, and so they understand it in a different context because they've been inculcated into that culture that has stairs.
And so the 5-year-old isn't smarter than the adult.
Right.
They just had different experiences, right? And they can make an analogy based on the picture and reality.
Yeah.
And so there's one cannot inductively prove a negative, by the way, without examining, notice, every possible instance. And so this problem becomes increasingly precarious as the sample size grows more limited. So we can't prove a negative. So you can't say that something cannot happen, right? You can only say it hasn't happened at best, right? Or to your knowledge, it hasn't happened.
Right.
But you can't say it can't not happen, right? Not only is that a double negative, that's trying to prove it, claim a negative.
Yeah, put yourself into America in 1941, and you come across this guy with crazy hair who likes taking pictures with his tongue out, and he says, oh, I've taken these little tiny particles here, and I've created a bomb so big that they'll level 2 giant cities. And you just go, I know that can't happen because that little bit can't produce this big thing. That's just impossible. Dismiss it. It's outside the scope of my understanding of my a priori ideas. And so I know that, what was his name? Dr. Einstein here? Okay, some doctor is going to say that a little thing is going to produce a big explosion. We know that can't happen.
Get back to operating on people.
Yeah, go wherever you're from. But yeah, so there our ideas have shift because now we see, oh, there's a science behind it. There's people that working. Put people back before 1900 and take an account of people said, I put this piece of paper in a fire and I watched it float up. And so I created this balloon and I did the same thing and I went up. No, if God had intended man to have wings, then he would have to fly. He would have given him wings. So
you can't ride on fire.
Yeah, exactly. So we know this isn't possible. So we just dismiss it out of hand and we burn the person at the stake and it never develops flight. And 50 years later, we're definitely not on the moon from there. So that's where we need to reevaluate some of our worldview there, the unexamined life, if you will.
There you go.